This is a crazy story. Today is day 1049 building startups in public. And since I made my first tweet almost 3 years ago, I have built 24 websites and made $1 million and started this YouTube series where I share everything I do so you don't make the same mistakes as me. So here is my Solopreneur Diary for 2024. This is a habit tracker I built 2 years ago and sold it a year ago for $10,000 because I was running out of money. And just 2 weeks ago, I got it back for free. This is a crazy story, but before I tell you what happened, let me show you why this habit tracker is special. So the app will give you daily missions where, for instance, it tells me that I have to read today. Then once you have completed your reading habit, you can finish the quest and then you will get some rewards like experience points and gems. And then you have a little garden where you can grow flowers with the gems you just earned. You can plant any sorts of flowers and you can grow them as you're consistent with your habits. And on top of that, there is a social part where you can play against or with your friends, see how consistent they are, see their activity, etc. I built this app 2 years ago. It was my first project with a paywall. At first, it was just a simple web application, and I launched it with this video.
Boom, and we're live. Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Hey Joe, thanks for having me. I was looking forward to this podcast. And that video. People enjoy those videos, that's why I grow a little following on Twitter. And one of the most requested features was, Mark, we need a mobile apps. But the thing is, I have no clue how to build mobile application. I am a web developer after all. So I reached out to my friend Martin and he showed me this new thing called Capacitor. It's basically like a web view that lets you input any HTML and CSS files inside and ship it as an iOS and an Android app. And from zero to having an app published on the App Store and Android Store without learning anything, it took 14 days. It was around January 2023. Back then, the app was making a couple $100 a month, and it wasn't enough to pay my bills. I was running out of money, and in August 2023, someone made me an offer. Ron offered to buy Habits Garden for $10,000 US. And that was enough money to pay my bills, so I accepted and I sold my little baby. I announced the acquisition on Twitter. I was pretty happy and relieved for the money, but I was also a little bit sad because, well, that was the product that I've been working on for the past 6 months, so I was also a little sad. It was a year ago, and fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I was curious about how the new buyer is doing with the new startup. So I just sent an email asking, how is it going with the startup? I had zero expectation from this email, just genuine curiosity. And the buyer replied, we don't have the bandwidth to work on Habits Garden, we can give it back to you for free. Man, are you kidding me? I got my habit tracker back, my little baby. I was so excited. And now that I'm not running out of money like before, I can plan and carefully make my moves. So I'm trying 3 things. The first one is that I am shipping new features. Last week, I shipped a new flower for the Habits Garden, the hyacinth, that unlocks randomly when you complete quests. And as always with Capacitor, it takes just a day or something for the app to be approved on the app stores. And my friend Martin is still here to help me when I'm stuck with the app store's release. Second, I'm trying a new pricing. It used to be a monthly or a yearly subscription. Now I'm trying a $5 a month subscription or a $50 lifetime deal. You pay once, you access forever. The paywall looks like this, and now people have the option between a monthly or a lifetime deal payment. And so far, there has been a couple of customers and all of them chose to go with a lifetime deal, even though it's 10 times more expensive. I'm making a video about pricing for software and apps and mistakes I made in the past that kept my startups from making money. And I'm gonna release that on my channel in a couple of weeks. You can subscribe to make sure you don't miss out. And finally, number 3, I am testing user-generated content. Instagram Reels, TikToks, Shorts. I I think this is where the audience for the habit tracker is. And since I am a boring 30 years old adult that don't watch any of those short form videos, I asked my good friend Jack Freaks if he can help with this. And so he's making content all by himself, one short form video per day. And within 7 days, he had a viral banger. This is the Instagram account he created. It was 0 followers a couple days ago. And it's all because Jack has been super consistent. And thanks to that, he got the first viral banger. 3 million views for a new Instagram account. That brought 100 of users to Habits Garden, and it's absolutely amazing. Make sure to follow this guy, Jack Freaks, on Twitter. He knows what he's doing. He's doing the exact same thing for one of his mobile apps, and that's how he's getting thousands and thousands of users. And I'm tired of sitting all day long. Feels much better. There's a good friend of mine in Bali who told me to visit this place in the north part of Bali called Munduk. So my wife and I took a 3-day trip there. I brought my computer and we went to that beautiful villa, and it was absolutely amazing. We would work on the daytime, and unlike here where I live in the south part of Bali where it's super hot outside, so I'm mostly indoor with that AC thing all the time, otherwise I'm sweaty everywhere and the brain is not working. In Munduk, the weather is much more chill, so you can actually work outside. And at the same time, my wife and I would do our daily morning workout, cook a little bit, travel a little bit, and enjoy a good time. And then I received a text message from someone I admire. Pieter Levels asked me if I was in Singapore. And I was not in Singapore, but of course I bought a ticket to Singapore. The man is giving a conference at the Network State in Singapore, and it was an opportunity for me to meet him for the first time. So we flew there right away with my wife, brought the computer, put on some hours of work in the plane, and attended to the conference. The conference is called the Network States. If you haven't heard of it, it's by the guy named Balaji. And I was actually very impressed by what they're doing. They are building an entire ecosystem for new types of society. So a digital nomad with their computers can go there. I think it's $1,000 a month for a room with roommates, or $2,000 a month for your own room. It's built on an island in between Singapore and Malaysia. They provide good food, they provide co-working space with AC, they provide a gym and a place to be healthy, like literally a new kind of school, and I was hooked. The conference was great. I got to meet some of you out there, not through the camera, but like for real. And by the end of the conference, I got to meet Pieter Levels. The guy is amazing. He's just a guy with one computer, and he makes at the moment $420,000 a month. Solo developer. This is absolutely insane. The guy has given me the inspiration I needed to get started, and it's still inspiring me like crazy. He's super humble, super kind. We had fun with him, his wife, and his friends, and he just made me more pumped to keep shipping startups. And at the same time, he invited me to the speakers dinner where I get a chance to meet another of my hero, Bryan Johnson. He's the guy that now you see everywhere that talks about diet and sleep. He is an amazing person. Really, thanks to him, I got to prioritize my health, sleep, diet, and I feel so much better in my body, so much more creative, so much more efficient. And seeing him in real after watching all of his videos, it was just crazy, just crazy. The guy is exactly like he is in his videos. He looks young and explosive, and it was just so good. And since my wife and I were in Singapore, we also enjoy doing a little bit of city things. Man, if you have never been to Singapore, it's a crazy city. In 20 minutes, you go from the airport to the city center. There's no traffic jam. Everything is super simple. You get a Uber in like a couple seconds. You never use cash, you never use credit card, you pay with your phone. Everything is fast, efficient. It's a very, very interesting city. And we finished the trip with a little session of wake surfing in the middle of the city, right on Monday morning, a regular day as a solopreneur. And then we went back to Bali because I got some work to do. If you follow me for a little while, you probably know me for shipping startups in a couple days, sometimes in a couple weeks, but I have made a little exception. I spent the last 3 months working on a new software, and I'm proud to announce that this video is the official release of the beta. Let me show you how that works. Ta-da! Here is DataFast. It's an analytic tool for startups founder to analyze traffic, find out the best marketing channels, and discover if a product is worth our time or not. So this is my DataFast dashboard with some of the website I built. It gives me a quick overview of what happened in the past 24 hours. For each website, I have access to simple web analytics, so I can see the visitors per hours, day, whatever time frame this is that I want, as well as a few metrics about user retention, the bounce rate, the session times, the visitors on my site at the moment. And I also see all the good web analytics data, like which pages do people visit, where they're coming from, the map of my visitors, the browser they're using, etc. Now, if you have a startup that intends to make money on the internet, this is where DataFast shines. You can connect with Lemon Squeezy or Stripe, and it's gonna start showing revenue data on your charts. And it's gonna try to connect the revenue and the traffic data in order to find out some growth insights. For instance, I can see in the refer tabs that from Twitter, I'm getting lots of visitors for this site, but very low revenue. The conversion rate is 0.06%. On the other side, from these websites, I'm getting 20 times more conversion, way less visitors, but way more money. And it's actually telling me that this seems to be the best marketing channels I have for this month so far. Then I have access to other interesting data. I can see the map of my revenue, where is most of the money coming from. It's giving me some KPIs about the revenue per visitors generated and what's the conversion rate. Now it's a very early version of the product, but I had to launch this because I spent 3 months on these single products. So I shipped this with a cheap pricing, and there is even a free trial so you can try it at no cost. And I really hope you give me feedback so I can make the best analytics tool for solo entrepreneurs. So this here is what my portfolio of startup made in September 2024. Around 85% of that is profit, and the business is down by 7%. Well, the fact that I'm focusing on DataFast for the past 3 months probably does not help. ShipFast is still quite steady. I'm building DataFast actually to try to understand where is the revenue coming from. For now, what I see is mostly word of mouth, affiliate, a little bit of ads, and that's it. If you watch my previous video, you will see that Indie Page software made much more money than it used to. I made a previous videos to explain how I managed to uplift the baseline of this revenue, and the rest is pretty steady. Most of those products are run on autopilot, which means I'm here for customer support if needed, or if there is a feature that is being requested a lot, then I'll ship something. But for most of them, they don't need my attention. It's pretty much self-serve, so there's nothing much to do here. And finally, I added a new source of income, Habits Garden, my habit tracker, which this month made $412, which is pretty good for a vitamin product. 30,000 readers on my newsletter. I started a year ago and it's been growing steady up and up and up. It's a newsletter slash blog. I share everything I learned as a solo entrepreneur in a written format for free. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. I also finished this book by Ryan Holiday. It's a really good book. It's made of like maybe 20 or 30 chapters about stoicism and how to get things done literally. And this is a really good match for entrepreneurs. And when I'm not feeling like it, sometimes I reread pages of it just to get motivated. And right now I am reading this book from Naval Ravikant. I'm a big fan of him. Actually, I saw him at the Network State Conference in Singapore. And I don't know, just rereading the words of Naval is every things he writes is a little pleasure. Oh, and this thing happened. .ge domain name is ranked 57. Domain rating, domain authority 57, which is, it's pretty high. Everybody called me crazy when I bought like those weird domain name that ends with unconventional TLDs. They said that it's hard to rank on Google, you might get blacklisted or something, and well, it's my highest rated domain right here. So I think we should make exotic TLD cool again. And the domain name is super short. I don't have to add a .com. It's like 4 letters in total, so it's very simple. And it creates a bunch of opportunities for a new brand name. Oh, and there is this as well.
Getting started with something simple is the best way to get more ideas, to build a tiny audience, to get feedback, to learn. There's just so many things that just role after that?
I went on these guys' podcast and we talk about getting startups idea. I shared everything I would do if I had to start over again. It's jumping off startup ideas. It was really interesting podcast. I'll add a link in the description if you fancy. And I also revived. This is my very first startup. This is how I made my first dollar on the internet. It was like back in 2018. So I revived the landing page of that business just to remember where it all started and how it does not matter where you start, because clearly if you go to the site, you'll see that I had no idea what I was doing. The copy is bad, the design is bad, and this is not terrible because this is like 2 years of work, but the first version of this was actually very, very terrible. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure the landing page is up there, just to remember that you can start from -100 and still improve from there. And finally, I am no longer using Mailgun to send emails. The reason behind that is I need to send marketing emails and I don't want to have two platforms, one for transactional email and one for marketing emails. So I went with Recent. It's a much simpler to use marketing platforms and they have a support for marketing emails. And just with a few clicks, you can send emails to your entire audience so you can broadcast new features about your product, new update, etc. It makes things much easier for developers like me who build startups in public. That's it. I hope you keep shipping. And there is red ink everywhere. Shit, that's the end of this video. Cheers.